Afternoon, everyone. So I thought I'd make a video. We recently purchased one of these Almost Heaven barrel saunas, and we made a few upgrades. It came together pretty good, but I thought I'd show you a couple of opportunities and options that you may want to incorporate into your barrel sauna if you're thinking about putting one of these together. I will say it came together pretty quickly. From the time that I opened the box to the time that it was finished, roughly around 6 hours, with me taking my time and really trying to make sure that I was being clean throughout the process. So I'll start with the exterior and then I'll show you the interior. But one of the main headlines that I want to highlight with this sauna is that it does not come out of the box from the manufacturer as a wireless capable sauna, but this one is in fact capable of being turned on and turned off wirelessly, really from anywhere. We can do it from our home network, or we can do it remotely when we're away from home as well. But yeah, so let me go ahead and give you a walk around. So you'll see we made a couple of upgrades. First off is we went ahead and put a roof on. I believe Almost Heaven is selling some tarp that can go over the sauna for roughly around, I think it was like 300, maybe 400 bucks for a tarp. What we just did is we went and got some metal roofing from Home Depot, which was dramatically less expensive than the tarp itself, and what I like to think would be more protective and less likely to blow away as well. So on the exterior, another thing you're going to notice is all of this electrical that's running over here. This does not come standard. This is something that we added, but again, very reasonable as far as cost goes, and for what it's worth, incredibly convenient to have. So right here you'll see we have a 120 volt power outlet, and that's great for doing things like charging speakers, charging your phone. Oftentimes we don't take many electronics inside of the sauna due to the heat, so we'll leave them charging right outside the sauna, and by the time you get out, your phone's charged, which is pretty cool. I will say, if you do want to take anything into the sauna that is an electrical device, small electrical devices, you're going to want to put it down low and as close to the door as you possibly get it. Now that's going to help us from overheating the battery, since that is objectively the coolest place in the entire sauna for heat distribution. So we've got a 120 volt outlet. We've got that ran on a switch, and we just went ahead and got one of these little daylight sensor lights, LED lights from Amazon. Super cheap, but it looks really nice. And when we're coming out here in the evening time, it's really nice to be able to see what you're doing. And down here in this junction box, there is some electrical that's been ran. I'll go ahead and pop that off and show you. And that controls the LED lights on the inside, and also the 120 volt that's going to be running to the back of the sauna as well. So I'll go ahead and put that aside for now. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But the sauna comes with a LED light bar, which is kind of cool, but it only sits at the back of the sauna and doesn't do much for illuminating the entire barrel. So instead of putting that in, I didn't even bother running that light. I got some additional waterproof LED strip lighting from Amazon and ran it underneath of the benches, around the entire perimeter, to the front as well. And it really looks good in the sense that it's nice, even lighting. Haven't had any problems with it getting this thing up to temp. And again, it's towards the bottom of the barrel, so even though it is rated for heat and moisture, we don't really have to worry about it as much, being that it's sitting at the bottom of the barrel. So let's go ahead and look at the wireless capabilities here. So again, I mentioned we can turn this thing on and off remotely from your phone. and it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But this 120 volt outlet that we ran a line here to also kind of hops back here and runs to the back of the sauna to where there is a junction box. And you'll see the 120 volt is coming in. We've got the 240 volt that's powering the heater itself running into this junction box, and then the 240 volt line running out into the sauna to the heater itself. Now, quick side note, I didn't get this idea myself. I learned how to do this from another video that maybe some of you saw online as well, and all these materials are from that video. However, as someone who's done some electrical as well, I noticed a few flaws in that video with what he did, and I wanted to provide a deeper explanation as to how to actually wire this so that you can achieve this as well. So let's go ahead and open up the box. And one thing you'll notice here is that there is all of the lines that are being ran are coming from the bottom. Now in his video that you may have seen, I saw that there were wires coming in from the side, wires going out the back, kind of all different parts of the box. Really, if this is going to remain a waterproof box, you're really going to want to have gravity on your side. So what we did is ran each one of these to the bottom so that anytime water is actually raining down on top, you're not going to have any chance of water coming up and getting into your box. There's a couple droplets here, but that's just from when I opened it and it came off the edge. So let's go ahead and explain this wiring, because one of the most difficult pieces that I had in watching the other gentleman's video is that he didn't actually mention what was wired to what. So let me show you here. So here I've got, again, the 120 volt line coming in, and that's connected to a female plug that I just went ahead and wired here from the base. That female plug is connected into this wireless switch, this wireless on and off switch, which is the main hub for controlling this from your phone. And then once again, we have a male plug that plugs out of here, runs a 14 gauge cable over to the contactor itself. You're gonna have the black and the white powering the contactor coils, which are here on the sides. Your neutral, sorry dogs, get out of here. Your neutral is going to be tied into everything else, and that's the basis for powering the contactor itself. And that's all your 120 volt line is going to be doing, is powering the wireless connector and powering the contactor itself. Now the contactor, you can watch other videos on YouTube if you want to learn more about contactors, but essentially this is going to act as a switch to turn off and turn on certain circuits. So I'll show you what we've done here. Again, we've got our 240 volt coming in from the block, from the main panel itself, and from that we've got the hot and the neutral, but basically this is a double hot given that these are two hot lines. So you got your two hot lines going into the top and your ground being twisted with everything else, and that's gonna sit on your contactor, which comes on and off as you choose. And then to the box itself, or to the heater itself, right here you've got another 8 gauge wire that is running from the bottom of this contactor in polarity with how we have it wired up top. And that's pretty much it. So again, a couple of things I did differently here was put the actual inserts at the bottom to have this maintain waterproof tightness. Also, I noticed that other gentleman may have used a different gauge wire than the heater was actually rated for. We used 10 gauge wire. Sorry, we used 8 gauge wire here going into the contactors itself. And from what I can tell by the Harvia Almost Sauna instruction manual, that's what's recommended. So you want to make sure you're using the right gauge wire, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks again. Leave a like on the video, leave a comment if you would have done anything differently to this build here. But so far, we've been using it pretty successfully. And yeah, it's really nice to have this wireless, especially on the cold winter days where you wake up and don't want to have to run outside to turn this thing on and enjoy it. Thanks again.